Hi. There are some people here who were here last week, and I gave some homework about judgment. There was a judgment exercise, just noticing, observing when you judge. And let's not judge you if you didn't do this homework. If you did, and if you have any input, make a little note for yourself that in the end of the class, you can tell the group if you did the exercise on judgment and noticing if you judge and what happens in you psychophysically. Is there a gesture that you're receiving or maybe doing? Are your judgments doing something to you, or are you doing something towards yourself or somebody else? I think there's a lot of psychological gestures happening when we judge. And it's human, you know. The more we can be free of judging ourselves and each other when we work together, create together, the easier it is to allow to be sort of clean or pure in a way, where then the character's judgments can start. In a way, our ego can go away and the character's ego can take a place. And we can work from a higher ego, what Mr. Chekhov talks about, the higher ego. I really suggest that there's going to be amazing teachers coming up. There's going to be Jessica Cerullo, Bethany Caputo, Dawn Arnold. They're amazing teachers. And so it's almost like I'm so excited for them to join. And I'm not going to tell you what they're going to be teaching, but they might say some same things in a different way. And so I think the really great gift here is that we have a group of really wonderful artists who are wanting to offer. And therefore we will hear the same technique from a different kinds of perspectives. And that's going to be a really big gift. Today, I'd like to give a little intention, which would be let your intellect be a servant or a helper or a friend today instead of a master. So today I would invite you to have an experience instead of having to understand the experience, instead of having to academically be able to put it in a box, instead of having to articulate it even in words or write about it later. All these things might happen later in a spy back when we look what happened. But I'd really like to invite us today to go to an experience, because that is our job as actors. I know we have some directors here as well. But I think that's what the directors want to see. They want to see the actor having an experience instead of seeing the acting, right? So the good news about having an experience is that you will inevitably have one. You can't avoid it. You're having an experience right now. So you will have an experience that nobody can take that away from you. This will happen. Now, in our profession as actors, the pressure comes, if we experience pressure, comes from the fact that there's a written story that somebody else, usually it's somebody else. So even if we wrote a story ourselves, there's a pressure of having that particular experience that's been written in the story, and perhaps even in a certain kind of a way that the director wants us to have that experience. So that sounds a really kind of limiting. In a way, it's freeing because somebody else gives you a story and playground. Here's all these things that happen. Now jump in and have an experience. Everything that we do in this class is geared towards you having more and more freedom within the limitations, or perhaps limitations is not the word I want to use, within the structure and framework and a form of this particular story of this particular character. So everything we do in class is to free your artistic impulses to have these experiences that the story is asking from you, and the director might be wanting. So today, I wonder what kind of story you'd like to have. What is the story within your artists today that you'd really want to tell the world or yourself? Or is there a story you're telling yourself right now about the world, about yourself, that you would like to change? So we are storytellers, and whatever story we are telling is affecting us psychophysically. Whatever story we experience is happening is affecting us psychophysically. So have a little moment. You can close your eyes perhaps. And just check in. If you allow yourself not having to understand it or generate any story, take a couple of breaths. Just breathe, allow breath. And I will ask questions that you do not have to have answers to this. In the story that you are right now as an artist living in, right this moment, or this moment now, each little moment, what are you experiencing? Is your experience one of being done to? The world is doing something, or another person? Is there a gesture coming towards you and you're being done to? Or is your story more about, or it could be a circumstance, atmosphere, another human being or animal doing something towards you, there's a gesture towards you. Is that the story right now you're living in? Or is there a gesture coming out of you, a wish or want or desire towards another human being or animal or circumstance or the world? Just to check in what is living in your artistic body right now, physical body or energy body, and being just honest on your observation within yourself. And it's okay not to know. It's okay. Should it ever happen that you go like, I don't know what Marjo-Riikka means and what is supposed to be, you always have permission to inhale inspiration, beauty, and safety, whatever is helpful for you to just be. You can also live, your experience could be this. Your experience might be something Mr. Chekhov calls a pause. Something just happened, there's a pause, or something is just about to happen. There isn't such thing as an empty pause. Sometimes as actors, we get scared, like, oh, I have nothing. Maybe you are in that place of a pause. Something just happened, or something is about to happen. Therefore, there's a pause. It's a great place to just breathe and wait, actively wait. Something will show up. And like every week, you have permission to take this work wherever you want to go with it. I'm here to hold space, and I'm here to suggest things. I have no wish to have any authority over your experience. one day if we do a movie together or a play together, I might have some wishes about your story that you will tell. And you know how we tell stories? It is how and what we have a form and we have a quality and we have a gesture, we have an atmosphere. These are the ways how different stories will happen. And today, allow whatever story wants to unfold from your artist, okay? And in the end, we will talk about what about somebody having a demand on my experience as an actor? Because that's why we train, we go to school 4 to 6 years to become a professional actor, right? So that we feel free and able to tell any story. Today, allow the story to unfold. I'd like us to cross a threshold now to, unless you already are there, but cross a threshold either physically or just energetically or both, to a place of artistry. Then no matter what kind of thoughts you have, whatever feelings you might have, the agreement is that we are now fellow artists. We're crossing a threshold to creation, the place where there are infinite amount of possibilities. You cannot do wrong in this space. Keep yourself physically safe, but other than that, you cannot do wrong. And then you can place, if you want, your hands gently on your head. I know we're not supposed to be touching our face, so you could also just keep some distance, social distancing with your, and just allow energetically your hands to touch your head. This whole realm of intellect. Perhaps it's nice to even give some space to allow it to have room and space. Allowing an artistic gaze, which means non-judgmental gaze. Observing, noticing straight lines or curvy lines, but allowing this with ease. And these are suggestions, not demands. Inhale your favorite scent. Let it gently expand all the tunnels in your head. Give more room and space for clarity, perhaps crisp, fresh air. A thought of, if you want to have a thought, it could be allow space, allow neck to be free, allow room, allow your favorite scent. I like jasmines or roses. Allow clarity or invite clarity, calm on the head. Now, if the polar opposite happened and if you're experiencing a whole lot of thoughts, go like, okay, interesting, and just give some more room for them. So they can, if you put anything in a too small cage, it's gonna be some fighting. So give some room. Lovely. And notice that you are indeed having an experience right now. It might or might not be in harmony of perhaps your desire of your experience. I suggest that whatever the experience is right now, what if that's exactly what's supposed to be going on for now? What if that is exactly the perfect story for this moment? And perhaps allow this observing part of yourself to look at yourself as an artist and have compassion for whatever experience you're having right now. No matter however you understand this, whatever your human self, your artist is having an experience in this moment, could at least part of you observe that experience and have compassion for it. Is it possible to both be having an experience and having a divided consciousness, to also observe it with ease and compassion? Is there a gesture for this? You don't have to have an answer. Great. Thank you for breathing. I don't hear your breath, but it's absolutely welcome to sigh out whatever is going on in you, allowing it to happen. Let's now go to the palms of the hands, wrists, arms, shoulders, throat, the back of the upper back, chest, solar plexus, all the way your upper torso. And just allow an opening gesture, opening and softening. It's almost like if you were to open the gates to your heart, and I'm not talking so much about the physical heart, just the palms of the hands could have like hearts in them as well. Opening the palm of the hand, opening your arms, opening and softening this heart. I call it heart center, but the emotional center. Allowing the fingertips and the palm of the hand be very gentle and soft. It can be firm and at ease and soft at the same time. And if you want, you could place one hand on the upper chest and one on the lower to support the experience you're having right now emotionally. And giving it room. Again, from the sides, from the front, from the back, up, down, allowing room in your emotional experience. And remember, we are already in the realm of possibility and artistry, so everything is possible. And not to judge, you might experience emotion that seems personal. You might experience emotion that you had no idea where that came from, in the place of creating, allowing. And now, just for the work, always take care of yourself, which means we could close our heart center and protect and say, no, nobody has place. You have this right to always, your personal is your personal, your sacred is your sacred. When I say open, and I suggest that you open, I'm suggesting that you're opening the universal emotional center where we can connect to each other as human beings and fellow creators and fellow artists. You don't have to reveal anything personal. You don't have to let anybody into your most sacred personal places. But there's this larger place of where we can unite and open, this universal. So if I open myself enough and I'm soft enough, I can actually not get hurt. If I'm soft enough, anything that goes towards my emotional center will go right. I will have the experience when that comes to me, that sensation or gesture. I will experience it, receive it as an actor, as a character. And then it can leave me if I'm soft enough. It'll just go through. Not to worry if this doesn't make sense. I'm talking about this right now because today we will be working on some gestures And some of them you might not ever want to receive any of these gestures personally. So let's be in the playground of the imagination that if I partner you up with the work with another actor and they do a gesture towards you, just know that we are in the realm of playground, in the realm of creation. This is not personal, it's imaginative. And at any point, you can step away from exercise. But not to be scared if you get a strong sensation from being done to by somebody's gesture. Good. And I've been talking, so you probably went back into your intellect. You're trying to understand some of it, so that's okay. But we've visited the head center, allowing space, room, calm for the head, allowing, not to force, but allow softening for the heart center. And it goes all the way to the back of your back. So allow support for your emotional center, all this from all directions. Front, open from the back, open from the sides, up and down. Inhale safety, inhale inspiration. These are just suggestions. If anything for you feels unsafe or uncomfortable, you always have a right to make it so. We're in the place of imagination. You can create whatever you want in there, any image, any sensation that's helpful, you can invite. Let's go to the will center, the survival center, the pelvic center, everything lower from the belly button, pretty much. Allow grounding roots. Allowing that center to strengthen. Allowing for a moment that center to inform. Allowing roots to grow. With ease. If you wanted to, you can get up or you can be seated. If you choose to get up, you could place your hands. Let me put this on your, hip flexors basically. And here, and just give support for the will center. From back, sides and front. And you can have one hand supporting from here. And just acknowledging that the legs, the knees, feet, allowing to connect. Allow a micro bend in the knees. And from this place, listen and see if a gesture is forming. What does it want? You cannot do this wrong. It's okay to pause and just wait as well. And when we work on the gesture today, I suggest that it is not a question, is it happening? Something is happening all the time. You are either being done to experiencing, receiving, or you are doing. And when you decide that you're doing, you are doing, it's not a question. So right now, whether you have a strong experience of it or not, Imagine that you can go down and root your roots down towards the floor. With your torso, with your legs. Growing, rooting, grounding. Good. And then see if, how would it be like if all your three, your head, your heart, and your will would be aligned for your purpose as an artist. Imagine how that would be like if your head, your heart, and your will would all be in agreement. If all of them would say, we are going for this gesture towards the world, or we will go together, we are aligned for the purpose, this need or wish or want or action towards our work together today, or some greater purpose in your life. How would it be like if your head would not be fighting with your heart, if they would be in agreement? This is the direction we're going. We're going this way. We're going forward, or we're going right, or we're going left, or we're going up or down or backwards or forwards. Your head and heart would agree on the direction, and your will would agree with your heart and with your head, and they would all be working together for your purpose. If it feels that you are able to share, you can close your eyes, everybody, for a second and listen to your head, heart, and your will, and see if there's a gesture. And you don't have to know anything about psychological gestures. Just see if your whole body wants to do a gesture towards the world right now. What would you do if you had all the power? If you have a wish, artistic wish. And you cannot do this wrong, and there's no judgment. And if you don't want to share, you don't have to. And just know that it's also possible that you might be living in a story of an experience of being done to so much that you want to honor and listen to that first. And from that place, a gesture might want to be born. You don't have to understand anything today. Just go for the experience, whatever your artist wants to do. We'll talk later. Beautiful. And then I would invite everybody to come sit next to your laptop. If you want to, you can also remain standing. If you, let's say you're tired and you really want to be on your feet, that's fine too. Psychological gesture is so many things. We're not going to even attempt to try to explore everything that it is. Lisa Dalton gave a beautiful class. And if you didn't see that class, there's a recording of it on YouTube. And she has other recordings as well. So, and I strongly suggest that you read about the gesture, read all the Mr. Chekhov's book, read all my colleagues, they've written beautiful books. There's so much information that I really if you have a space for it, read. However, if you don't have space for it in you, then don't. Read it in the moment where it's inspiring for you. Psychological gesture is many, many, many things. But I had a little bit of a rough night last night. I'll leave it to that. But it gave me a great inspiration this morning to explore gesture a little bit. I'm taking a lot of risks on these Sundays. I'm teaching in a way I never teach usually. It's like a laboratory. So I might fall on my face, and that's okay for me. I hope it's okay for you too. So I'd like to explore the psychological things, psychological gesture in a way today that I thought about it, two things this morning. I thought about when we get triggered. You know, this is a word that is used a lot in the language, being triggered. And I thought, when I feel triggered, my experience often is that there's a psychological gesture coming towards me. I mean, it might be even a physical gesture, but at least psychological gesture that I perceive, whether it is actually coming or I imagine it's coming, my psychological response to it is the same. So whether me being triggered is reasonable for anybody else's opinion, or me being triggered means anything to anybody else, my experience of it is real when it comes to my psychophysical being. So my physical body is reacting, my emotions are reacting to this. And I thought like, what an interesting thing to think about, that this is exactly what happens to the characters as well. Not if you're with me a little bit. So this is great news for acting, because whatever we imagine will be. How easy it is to get triggered. Whether we are like honest to ourselves about, it's so easy to point out, you did this. Oh, I could go like, oh, I feel very triggered. I feel all these things happening in me. And for the most of the written drama or comedy, whether it's any style of writing, the characters are very rarely so mindful that they'll go like, oh, I feel triggered. That's like a characteristic. If somebody's so self-aware and mindful, that's almost like a character, right? They never get triggered. They're just observing. Most of the things that we get to play are like people really getting like triggered. And then from this being done to receiving a gesture, whether it's a gesture of the atmosphere doing something, like, oh, I just don't like, this is a weird atmosphere in here. Well, why do I care if there's a weird atmosphere? Because it's doing something to me. My experience is that it has a gesture. It's like suffocating me or poking me or tearing me apart there's a, there could be a gesture. I mean, there could be an atmosphere of like a lot of ease or like sensuality or whatever. But that's a gesture that I receive. That's my experience, whether it's true or not. So that's one of the things that I'd like to, and I'm talking about this because there's a little bit of responsibility for me as the teacher, the holding the space, is that if I put you in rooms together now, can we please agree that any point when you are, we're exploring some gestures today in couples, like partners, please nod or thumbs up or something that you understand what I mean. You can always leave that room. You are safe in your own space. If something happens in that space that you're like, oh, okay, that's too strong experience, I'm having a strong experience, you can leave, or you can go like, oh, I need a break. Ooh, I'm really experiencing. Instead of, don't do that, that feels bad for me, because then we're in a place of judgment, and because we are going with imagination. So if you feel unsafe in a room I put you with a fellow artist, please leave. Or you can say, oh, I need a break. instead of making it to be anybody else's fault, I sort of in my heart believe that there's nobody here in order to hurt anyone. It's not the sort of like a crowd of people that normally attends my classes. And if somebody has a strong reaction to gesture you are offering towards them, you can celebrate the fact that, wow, the gesture is really working. And if they say that it's too much, you go like, okay, we'll stop for now. Wow, that was really strong. Because if we don't have this boundary, this container of safety, we might not be feeling safe to play. Like, how could I ever pierce into your heart or tear you apart if I didn't know that, you know, we are in imagination, it's two characters, it's the story we are telling, because people do this kind of things to each other psychologically, right, in plays and movies. I would never want to do that to anybody willingly as a person. But as a character, how much fun can it be when we're both safe? And the stronger my psychological gesture is, the more it will get you going, and then we are in the scene and nobody has to worry about not having an experience. So it's a gift you can give to your fellow actor to have a strong gesture, specific quality of movement, and really strong atmosphere. These are gifts, but we have to feel safe so that we can play this way. I'm just reading quickly. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so if I end up putting you in a room and you don't want to work, just get out of there. I'll do the partnering again. If you would like to just observe, that's absolutely fine. Okay, and you can leave this session at any point. Don't stay here for my sake. Please do not stay here for my sake. A gesture of like reaching out, like stay here only if you want to. You are not going to hurt my feelings by leaving. I promise. There's enough in the world that's hard right now. So this is not supposed to be one of those things. So you can always watch it later. Okay. Where was I? So the other thing that I was thinking about the gesture, and the reason I'm going like to these things are because these are living in me as an artist right now. I'm like writing a movie and I'm like, so I'm not going in the foundational way. We'll get to that place, but I want to talk a little bit. The other thing that I was thinking about gestures was something I experienced. I'm sorry to be so much about me right now, but I had such a strong experience last night, is that I had this experience where my head, my heart, and my will at certain points were completely aligned on surviving. And at times my head, my heart, and my will were like having a conflict. So my head had a gesture towards my heart, like doing something, and my will was showing up. There were like three gestures going between, and any character could, like, there could be a conflict between, I'm gonna take it away from my last night now, go like say, okay, if Eika, you and I were doing a scene together, and my character was married, and you know, but you were somebody else, we worked together, and so in my head I would know, not a good idea. My heart or my will center, my central survival center here might go like reaching towards Eika and wanting to, you know, something. Well, my head would go like, no. So there might be inner conflict. This basically, in one way of thinking of them, could be gestures within you, within your character. And now this is gonna sound maybe super complicated. But if everything in a way has a gesture, atmosphere, circumstance, a fellow human being, fellow character, and then even within yourself you have gestures, this is not to make it more complicated. This is actually to make it more simple if we only focus on one at a time. And if we only focus one at a time for a long period enough of time to understand the experience. Not to understand it intellectually only, because that is an academic understanding. To understand it to the level of experiencing. And what is an experience? How do I know I'm experiencing something? Most of the time, actor experience means that I'm having a sensation running through my body. We experience emotions physically, because love or fear or joy, none of these things, if they are just written things, we wouldn't be such a big deal. We'd be like, oh, that joy thing, oh, fear. But because something happens in me psychophysically, both in my physical body and my energetic body, my atmosphere, I'm having sensation of that experience. Images are very linked to it. So how do we experience? How do I know I'm having an experience? I'm in cold sweats, or I'm shaking, or I have, feels like you're piercing through me, or feels like you are lifting me up, or feels like you're embracing. These are all, if my physical body didn't react, it wouldn't be such a big deal. If you get any questions about this, you write them down for yourself and we can talk about it later. So in a way, our job as actors, when I say our job is to experience, our job is to open up and fine-tune our instrument to be willing to experience. And the only way I'm willing to experience something that's horrifying in a story is that I know I'm safe personally, and then I can completely give into this experience. Or if, go back to Eka and me, like, you know, if we were going to have, let's say, a sexual or sensual scene together, the only way we could both for sure feel safe in it is that it has form, boundary. This goes to a little bit into intimacy choreography now, that it has all these artistic elements from the technique in it. I sort of lost my thought a little bit. I got too carried away. I hope you're still following me. The only way to experience, or whether, even if it's a fantastically funny scene, to still have the separation that this is artistic work. Okay. A lot of talking. Now let's, for the fun of it, also today, how do we fine-tune experiencing? You know what we're gonna do? We're never gonna get to the psychological gesture. We will, I promise. I wanna do an exercise that is not a psychological gesture, but it will warm it up. But before we do this, it will be a little bit long. It's an individual exercise. After that, I will give just 4 different psychological gestures, or 2 and maybe 1. We're gonna try it in partners. But let's do this one exercise first. I'd like you to now, we'll have like 3 minutes. If you need to use restroom, take a sip of water, get yourself a pillow, any size of a pillow. Pillow that has, if it's possible, some softness to it. So that any kind of pillow. Everybody has a pillow in the room? Some sort of pillow. Get a pillow, sort of, if you can, in front of your laptop. And I'll wait like 2 minutes if you want to use the restroom first. I'm going to pause the recording. I hope I'll remember to start it again. Okay. Now, if you've done my class and you've done this exercise 100 times, see how it would be to do it as a brand new experience. Have you a pillow? And remind yourself that the foundation of the Chekhov technique is concentration. And I suggest today that let's have this concentration, this artistic concentration, be in a way of question of our will. So with ease, allowing your will to gather your concentration and focus to be with your scene partner, which is now the pillow. This pillow is your scene partner. It would be delightful to have a human being after this, but it's also a very wonderful scene partner because it will do exactly what you want it to do, basically. Whatever you imagine it to do. So for the start with just notice the shape and the form of the pillow. This is not the concentration exercise. We're not going to go. We could spend a long time observing this. But we're not going to do it. There's 100 wonderful exercises about concentration. One day we will do that. But let's just notice the shape and form, the material. And we do this in my class when I direct. We often do this. Let's do an actor agreement with your scene partner. So I will help you. Tell your scene partner you will help them. And that might, in a way, to be a gesture energetically. What do we do when we help someone? At least we give our attention, our concentration, we are with them. We notice them, the shape and the form. I will help you. Perhaps we embrace them or lift them, or I will help you. If we're speaking the truth, if our intention is aligned with our words that I will help you, in a way that is most likely an action, a gesture, I will help you. Wonderful. And then have a little pause. Allow that gesture to be completed, sustained and completed. And then be with your pillow, your scene partner, and the next line is, you will help me. Inhale. Allow this help to arrive from your scene partner. You will help me. So if this scene partner was to help you, what might the gesture be? What might be helpful to be imagined that you're receiving? Are they giving their attention to you? They're embracing or lifting or being with you? You will help me. Inhaling this easy concentration of being together with. And then lastly, the line is, we are in this together. So whatever atmosphere you've created with your image of the pillow or the pillow, your scene partner and yourself, we are in this together, in this exercise, in this exploration. I'm holding the pillow on my lap so that you can see it, but I suggest you put the pillow on the floor or sort of like on another surface than yourself, because we're going to be doing things for the pillow, to the pillow. So I don't want the feedback to go back to your body. So I suggest you put the pillow, actually I could do it this way, on the floor or on the table, so that the feedback is not, if I have it here, I'm sort of doing it to myself as well. But I'm holding mine here because it's easier for you to see. You can do this too, whatever you want to do. It's your little piece of art. So we're going to go for a little journey. And this journey is going to be, let's say, maybe 10 minutes long. I'm guiding you. If I go faster than your experience, you go in your own tempo, okay? And just know that after this, we'll have a little break. Then we're gonna do a couple of psychological gestures, and then we're gonna go in the rooms, and so that you know that there will be break. So knowing that in 10 minutes, you get to do whatever you want for 5 minutes. See if you could ask your head, your heart, and your will to be aligned to be here with the pillow, your scene partner. And neither of you can do anything wrong. You will have an experience, it's inevitable. So now, in the script that I'm imagining, it says that your character places, this is the form that you're going to execute. This is like something the script says. Brings her or his or their hand to the pillow and pushes it into the pillow. So this is the physical form. From here, just practice the physical. It could be like takes off a jacket or puts a shoe on. But right now, I'm keeping the physical action very simple, which is basically pushes the hand into the pillow and holds it there. So pushes the hand to the pillow and holds it there. Let's say that the script says holds it there 5 beats or something. That's, don't have to count, but there's a sustained and pushing the hand into the pillow. The physical action continues. After a little while, lifts the hand away from the pillow. So that's the physical action. Now we're going to explore it a little bit further. So, you know, if you were playing this character and this was the action, okay, you could just do it and be like, not much is happening here. I'm pushing the hand on the pillow and taking the, so let's now fill this form with some doing and being done to. Let's inhale. Let's start from a quality of like soft gentleness, tenderness. So you could create some gentle energy between the palms of your hands and bring that gently on your throat. Inhale and chest. Inhale, gentleness, tenderness, softness. Allow it to permeate your whole being. And imagine that you could radiate it out of the palms of your hands. So now you can work with both hands or one, however you want. Okay, I noticed the chat. For now, maybe we can forget about the chat for a little bit. Good. So inhale. Your palms of your hands full of perhaps like a gentle light, softness. And imagine you can go with 2 hands or 1 hand. Imagine that you can shine, radiate this gentleness, tenderness to the pillow, towards your scene partner. First, just energetically, as if the palms of your hands could like give light and heat, warmth, perhaps even healing to the pillow. And then when your energy body is already moving towards the pillow, allow your physical form to be pulled by the energy. And then they move together. And by the time you touch energetically the pillow, way before you touch it physically, and then keep pushing gently, gently, that light and healing energy into the pillow. Sustain that. Your neck is free, easy to do this, sustaining, imagining that this light and heat, this warmth goes all the way to the pillow, through the pillow all the way to the floor. And you're still doing, you're sustaining this, doing towards pillow, giving it light, giving it gentle energy, softness, perhaps even healing. And then at some point you will notice that it has been sustained and completed, and now there's this thing called pause. Oh, you stop sending and radiating the energy into the pillow and further through the pillow. Little pause, and then inhale and start receiving warmth, heat, and gentleness from the pillow into the palms of your hands. Inhale, imagine you can receive, almost pull through the palms of your hands, receive gentleness, heat, warmth, tenderness into the palms of your hands, and then through the palms of your hands, all the way through your arms, all the way to the center of your chest. And inhale. They become richer, and your heart can grow. Have more gentleness. So you're receiving, being done to by the pillow. And when that's completed, you'll know. And then you can either keep pulling or like receiving and taking your hands away. See what you want to do, but make a decision, or allow the pillow to make a decision. So you've been receiving. Are you gonna remove your hands while you're still receiving it? Or are you removing your hands and giving it? Try what wants to happen. And you cannot do this wrong. Explore. It takes a lot of concentration. If you start noticing it's hard, see what happens if you think your neck to be free. If you allow ease, feeling of ease would be very helpful. Wonderful. I'd like you to try it one more time, and then we're going to do actually no, however that was just fine. We'll get to the end of, I'll have an hour for questions. We can even do it again if there's like, I have no idea what happened or why or what. We'll get to that, so not to worry. Now you've been cast, congratulations, you've been cast to the remake of Indiana Jones. You are the lead character. So there's a certain style for, does everybody know Indiana Jones, these movies? You know, there's a lot of things happening that are really scary, but I'm choosing this style because there's enough scary things happening in the world right now. So I'd like, this is a hero who will survive this, but there's a journey and task and this like mission to do. But just know that your character is safe. And sort of, you know how they like in the middle of very dangerous thing, they're like joking and flirting, and this is the style of this movie. I want to put it out there so we don't have to go. However, the psychophysical experience is still true, but the style doesn't go to the level of like tragedy. So it doesn't hit your survival center. It stays a little bit higher here. The atmosphere is different. This is not Greek tragedy now. It's like this action movie, okay? So this is the script. Feel no obligation to act it. If you cannot produce a lot of noise where you are, not to worry, allow breath. If you're living in an apartment with somebody, you might shout them, don't worry, I'm okay. I might produce noise. You also don't have to, but allow breath. So your characters is a pivotal moment in the movie. They have to go down. There's a spikes growing out of the pillow, or fire, whatever or worms, whatever you want to imagine. But I suggest spikes. I'm just suggestion. your character's mission is to push their hands through those spikes into the pillow, energetically search there, and they will find a jewel that will save the world, because you're saving the world, right, by doing this, getting it out, and the second you get it out, the world is safe and your hand is healed. No permanent damage, okay? But the script is, so energetically thinking, there might be things happening. We gotta go slow. When we are rehearsing an action movie, or anything that happens fast, we rehearse it really slowly. So that those experiences, I'm talking about experience and sensations in the body. In real life, if you were put to this task, you would not have to try to act the experience. You'd be like having an experience. Luckily, this is just a movie. You don't have to do this for real. But we suggest that the character is doing it for real. So one or the other things might be happening. When I'm approaching these spikes, I know that my physical body has to go towards them. My energetic body might go that way because I'm anticipating pain. Do you know what I mean? Try out this for a second. Hover on top of those spikes. And neck to be free, you know, we're just exploring. You don't have to have nothing is necessary. Just hover some distance from the spikes and know that, okay, physically you're gonna go down, but what is your energy body wanting to do? It's probably wanting to go that way, because who wants pain? In order to get through those spikes, we might have to use our will center. Harness our energy body and go like, okay, I'm using everything in myself right now. I'm taking my energetic body that wants to go away from the spikes together, inhale and exhale, and I'm gonna, with my physical body and my energy body, when there's a decision to be made, I'm just showing that you're gonna go through the spikes, you're gonna sustain it, you're gonna have the experience, the spikes going through your flesh or your bones, or, you know, all the fun. Then you're gonna search for the jewel, you're gonna find it, and you're gonna pull it out, and everything is healed, the world is safe, and your hand is healed. You're allowed to be playful with this, not to demand a deep experience, but I strongly suggest if you do this, I had no time to experience anything. Maybe it's just pressure of like, I hope I'm not acting poorly. Give yourself time, this moment, going through, about to go through it and going through it. See what happens. So I will give everybody a couple of minutes to explore this. If you don't know what to do, make it your own little piece of art. It's your close-up. And go. You have time, not to rush. Anticipating it. Allow breath, allow sound if you can, at least breath. The anticipation can last a long time. Don't go before you're ready. And when you're ready, when you go with your whole being. Sustain into the pillow, take the jewel out, and then pull. And when you get it out at some point, celebrate the healing and saving the world. But you are wherever you are with it, so no rush. You have time to experience. And if you were very fast and you want to go again, you can, or you can rest. And would everybody like to show what they got out? The healing jewel, the stone, and show it. Thank you for saving the world again. Beautiful. I'm going to unmute you for a second. If you want to write anything down about this experience for later, do it now. And then we're going to have, let's have like a 5-minute break or 6 minutes. So you can take a snack, take water, write down what you want. If you have any questions on why on earth would we do anything like this, except for the movie that we're going to shoot. And then, and also know that whatever happened was just enough of experience. Whether you had an experience of, I'm not having an experience. If you were level of thoughts, it's okay. If you had a strong emotional experience, that's okay too. If you were like somewhere between, that's fine. You had an experience. That's enough for now. Okay, good. Let's have a little 5-6 minute break and we'll be back.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're back. So, because I coach a lot of actors for TV and film all the time, a lot of the time there is not necessary time to even intellectualize at all. The gift of the Chekhov technique is that we don't have to. We can try different part of the technique and that's it, good to go. Give yourself fully into this one thing. If we have time to prepare, what a gift on being able to explore all the aspects of the technique. But I think psychological gesture is probably so famous for the reason that it can ignite. Well, now that I'm saying this, I'm like, well, but then the atmosphere, you know, because all of it works. So it's like, but perhaps psychological gesture is so much spoken of because Stanislavski came up with objective, that it's helpful for the actor to know that the character has a need, and because we now, most of us, I think, agree that it's helpful for an actor to know what the character's need is, what propels them, what they need, what the Barbara Kite says, what holds them hostage, you know, that need, necessity. I love that, what holds them hostage in a way. Because we know that that's something that every acting class I've ever been in has at some point talked about objective. Gotta know what's your objective. And then sometimes we know our objective, we're like, good actor, got my homework done, I know exactly what my character needs. And yet it doesn't seem to be living anywhere in the actor's body or energy field. So therefore we know it intellectually on the level of, I can talk about this character till to next year, but it doesn't resonate anywhere in my experiencing. So that's not quite yet that we are then in the actor's world. We are in the job of academia or critic or a great understanding of the character in some level, but it hasn't sink in all the levels with our whole being, basically. So psychological gesture is probably so famous because it's so helpful. It's not the only helpful thing, but it's humongously helpful on getting the character's need live in the actor's body like this fast. The only way it won't be helpful, perhaps the only way could be if I am demanding it. Here's the gesture, and now it's going to be this result. And then I'm not really living in that, what I'm doing and experiencing with the gesture is igniting me. I'm living in that result, right? So let's see, today we are not working on, we haven't assigned characters. You could, if you are working on a character, to like go like, ooh, I'm gonna try these things that we're doing through the lens, through the experience of this character's circumstance. Or you could just go like, ooh, I wonder what character might appear. We are going to be working something what I call like a relationship gesture for the relationship between two characters. Because we can have a psychological gesture towards so many things and moments in the script for the overall objective, the super objective. I can have a psychological gesture for one moment. I can have a psychological gesture. Basically, when you work enough on the gestures and the Chekhov technique, you start reading a play or script, they just start happening in you. They're like the first, it starts playing you, the script starts playing you like your music. It starts automatically happening. I cannot avoid it anymore. And I think same will be true to all you, most likely. But today, in this work, something else might happen. I'm suggesting that we focus on the fellow character. You might discover something about the archetype of the character you're working on. But right now, I'd say, like, if I gave you a script and we have audition tomorrow, One thing that I, as a casting director, need to see is what your relationship is to the person you're having an experience with. Because if we don't have a relationship on stage or in front of camera, if I don't, as an actor, if my character doesn't have a relationship to the space or the fellow character, I don't have a story. Relationship is everything. Relationship is everything. We can have a relationship with the rock, but gotta have one. So today we're gonna have imagined relationships with different characters. I suggest we allow them to happen, informed by the gesture. If the gesture is there to awaken something in you, let's let it do it. Some of the things that might keep away on experience is that if I have a result in my mind, I'm not actually in the experience. I'm thinking ahead in the result. But if I have patience and trust and faith enough, courage enough to be in the experience, the result will come. Okay, so let's see what happens instead of wanting to control it. Of course, we can be so good doing gestures that we can pretty much decide, sure, but that's like when you master it. And be careful when you master something, because the second I go like, I mastered the gestures, has never been best acting, because if I already know I can do it, I'm living in no need, in no danger, in no unpredictability. I'm not creating anything, I'm just in the result. So it's in a way the same. Whether I'm fearful of not getting the result, or I'm like, I'm gonna get the result, it's the death of creating both of them. Good. You can, if you want, stand. I would normally have actors to be standing doing the gestures, but I'm thinking because this is the new way we're working, you could also try. What if most of the work is done by your energetic being instead of your physical? However, if you feel like, yeah, I really got to get to moving, you're absolutely free to get up. So you can feel it out for yourself. If you get up, just notice to allow your neck to be free. If you're seated, the same thing. I'm not even going to warm you up. Let's see, today, I often move so much with you guys. All the first classes were moving around. I was doing everything. Today, I'm trying something different. What if we go more from allowing the energetic body to, the physical body will join if it wants. So imagine, and let's start with gentleness and tenderness, because it's often helpful quality. Inhale ease and gentleness and tenderness. Allow that permeate your whole being and become also an atmosphere around you. So you'd be in harmony with an atmosphere of gentleness and tenderness. You'd be both your inner atmosphere, your personal atmosphere, and it could be also the atmosphere that's surrounding the objective atmosphere. And let's allow the quality of movement to be in harmony with that. And then gently place the palms of your hands on the center of your chest. And imagine that energetically your heart center will start reaching with this quality of softness and tenderness through a space that is soft and tender to touch. And through the soft, gentle, your heart will reach, and your fingertips and your energy and your whole being. You're giving it direction with your hands, but your whole being is reaching all the way with gentle pelvic center. Your whole being is reaching to something or someone. If an image appears, it's fine. You don't need to have an image, but something or someone that is fragile or frightened, or just gently. And when you are living in the experience of I am reaching, and it's a decision, it's not a question, it's a decision. I am reaching gently, almost carefully. You can gently, carefully bring your hands back into your body, but keep reaching from your heart center. And when I say reaching from your heart center, you are reaching with your whole being. Just pinpoint it, that it comes out from that center. Or perhaps your whole front of your body is reaching. Let it be how it wants. Reaching with your breath, your neck is soft, easy, your tongue is soft and easy. And I always say energy body can do anything. So you're reaching, but this thing you're reaching towards is kind of like moving away from you. So you have to keep reaching. And then you can add word yes or no. Yes or are you sleeping? Allowing the breath be reaching and allowing the words be reaching. Not to listen how it sounds, allowing it to be in harmony with the carefulness and the gentleness of that reach. If you do anything like drink or something while you're reaching from your heart, allow everything to be in harmony with that quality of movement, and keep reaching from your heart. And then stop reaching. So I have actors who sometimes, for some actors, it's easier to just reach with the energy body, because they might feel they don't have much physical training and they might feel awkward moving their body. That's okay. And then I'll just know, oh, there's the physical body to train. But if we have audition tomorrow, that's okay. No time to train the physical body. So today for this audition, we'll reach from the heart. It's working. It's great, you know. However, of course, in the training, we want to be able to train the actor's whole being to be accessible, and yeah, good. However that was, we'll see, we'll talk about later. Now I'd like you let's do reach, but let's do it a little bit differently. Let's imagine that, let's inhale quality of slow burning lava. So connect to the center of the earth. Slow burning lava, whatever that means to you, your magical being, you can collect it and bring it. Have a really, really large lava center. This could be like a quality of slow burning, sort of like lava, whatever that means to you. We don't need a title. It could be aggressive, or it could be sensual, whatever wants to arrive. And with this slow burning lava, imagine that this energy could reach from your pelvic center. Your hands keep your hands a little bit lower, because your physical body will help your energetic body to be in harmony, and reach your pelvic center and your hands towards different image. It's no longer that, it's something else. And let's say I'll give an image. You don't have to go. There's a rope that's burning, but your magical being, take that rope, grab it, and pull through your pelvic center all the way to your back space for good keeping. And keep pulling, sustaining that pull. When your physical body can no longer pull, imagine that there's like a reel inside your pelvic center, keeps pulling, pulling, pulling. So you're sustaining the pull energetically. And in order to sustain, you never release it, you reach, you grab, and you pull again. You can also do that just seated. You notice I'm doing the same gestures we worked with Alice. I wanted everybody to be able to try them out. And there's usually a hot spot somewhere in this pool. Normally, often for me, it's here. I feel it in my gut when I'm pulling. When you have a hot spot, a rich experience of that pull, say yes. But it's more important to allow the experience than say anything. And again, if anything I do goes against anything that you understand the Chekhov technique to be merciful to yourself and to me. And just say, I'll just play and see what happens if I pull like slow burning lava through my pelvic and all the way to my backspace for good keeping. If this was just about one moment in this script, is something being awakened in my actor's body that might be where the character is like how he's doing or she's doing or they are doing the action. What starts awakening in you? Allowing neck to be free. Beautiful. And then stop pulling. So preparation for pull is basically I will reach, I will grab, and I will pull, right? So we'll talk later. I'm going to give you one more gesture, and then we're going to go in rooms and play with this a little bit, okay? And then we'll still have time to talk. I know that we're going pretty fast, perhaps too fast to have a strong experience, but I think that one of these will most likely be like, oh, that felt easiest. So then you will explore that in your room, whatever feels easiest. Let's do a little piercing or penetrating. Imagine that you can pull out the laser finger. Laser finger. And now, just know, you're not doing anything mean to anyone. We are in the absolute realm of playfulness. It's a script. In this script, your character will pierce into somebody's head, take some information. So imagine you can pick anybody on the screen. Imagine that you can, with absolute lightness and ease, your neck is free. All your energy force is pinpointed from this finger, this laser beam that you're gonna, I give yourself some time. So I always start from the polar opposite to have more time to experience it. The energy goes first and physical helps it. So they go together. Pierce inside somebody's head. You can go in from an eye. Pierce into the head. You can look around a little bit in different places in the head. And then when you find the information when you want it, take it between the two fingertips. Now easily pull it out. It's okay if you enjoy doing this. And then try it again for fun. It's okay if it's fun, it doesn't have to be fun, but the more ease you have, the more powerful it is. So ease is helpful. So how could you do it with less tension? Only the amount of tension that's helpful. And now when you're going in, you could say anything, or you could say, what did you do last night? Or you could say yes. Allow enough time to have the experience instead of acting out what you think it should look like. Very important to have the experience of doing this instead of showing that you're doing it. Thank you. And then stop piercing and penetrating. Lovely. Beautiful. Fa, 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 fa. And then shake it off, clean it up, bundle it, send it to the planet imagination. Good. So there are some, now would be a good time. If questions showed up, you can write them in the chat, 2 minutes writing questions. Then I'm gonna, while you do that, I am going to put you in rooms. And when you go to a room, you will find 3 other people in the room. I'd like, because I'm doing now, I thought of just doing 2, but I thought, oh, maybe somebody only wants to observe. Or maybe I'll put 3 people in a room. So if you have 2 people who just want to observe and 1 wants to do, then the 1 does this and the 2 just observe, right? If all 3 want to do, you'll have enough time to pick 1 gesture that you want to explore. I have now really given you very limited, I've given you a gesture, reach from your heart with the quality of gentleness. I'm giving directional choices right now. Or pierce with absolute lightness and ease and pick this thing. Or reach to grab and pull from your pelvic center with the quality of low-burning lava or slow violence. I'm giving them just to give you real framework. Okay, now let's have this gaze towards each other where we are in this together exploring. It's not a question of right or wrong right now. If you notice that somebody's full of tension and in your opinion, not doing it right, please don't correct each other. Allow everybody to have an experience. The only way to have an experience is to not correct each other. Allow yourself to have experience and allow the others to do the same. It's not about doing it right. It's about, it might be a little bit nerve-wracking to meet a new person and, oh, I'm gonna do a gesture towards you right now. How is that like? So when you meet in the room, you can say hi, don't start talking in the length or you will never get to the exercise, but say hello. Then the little agreement, I will help you, you will help me, win this together. We are crossing the threshold in that artist place where it's only playing, it's not personal, okay? And I will visit the different rooms. I will come and go. We'll stay in the rooms. I say maybe, let's see, I'm gonna see a little bit how it goes. If you don't wanna do an exercise, you can observe. If in one room nobody wants to do, then do whatever you want. Those who are receiving, there was a question how to separate from my own body or for the actor's body. Let's do one thing before we go into the rooms. This is a suggestion. Let's put on a super actor bodysuit. So let's get up. It's a protective suit. So it's filled with inspiration and lightness and ease. It's like a space suit, but it has very much flexibility. So inhale, big helmet, protects your head. Put on boots, protects your lower amount of boot on, the whole body suit. It's flexible, filled with empathy, inspiration. No critics can get in. Your personal, inner sacred, everything is completely protected. And then you can expand it with lightness and ease. And if you need to put this whole body suit on when you go into the room, you can. And remember, you have always right to say, this is a little bit too much experiencing. I'm gonna have a break right now, okay? Let me very quickly to see if there was any burning questions. So, okay, there are people who just want to observe, that's absolutely. If you have 2 people in the room that want to observe, that's fine, or 3, then you'll just, chat about acting or puppy dogs. I'm just quickly looking that there's no. Great. Okay, I'm going to put you in rooms now, and then I'm going to read all these questions, and we'll have plenty of time to talk. Thank you so much. Okay. There we go. Oops.
And forgetting ourselves.
Yes, yes. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna be inviting everybody for a talk like in a couple of minutes. I'm just visiting every room. Beautiful.
Thanks.
Hopefully you can share more in the big group too. I'm sure they'd like to hear this. Yes, especially because you also, you're acting as well, Avivi, but you direct a lot, right?
I'm more a director.
Yeah.
It's
So
fun. Now I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'm working opposite.
Yes, yes, yes. Wonderful. Karine, I don't know you so well yet. I look forward to knowing more about you. Where are you?
I'm in Boston, but originally from France.
Ah, fantastic. So you
Yeah.
must know then all the Chekhov people in Boston. Scott Fielding, yes?
That's how I started. I encountered Chekhov through Scott, yes, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Okay, I will go now. You do whatever you want for a couple of minutes, and then I'll bring everybody back. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Marjo-Riikka.
Thank you.
Almost like a platform for you to step on. And then there I was kind of,
how is it going? Any questions? I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
Yeah, of course. We were just toying with I'm trying to wrap my head around the psychological gesture. Yeah. So they did an exercise and then we did an exercise. This is my first time in the class, great class. First of all. And so I was giving when I was just previously receiving, and I was noticing how images change, you know, and trying to actually deal and flesh out almost every single image without going too far off of like just a creative tangent, if that makes any sense. What I was trying to give to you, I was trying to bring you in so I could mold you and shape you. But I ended up somehow crushing you because I felt, I felt that, you're taking me in a little too close. And so I wanted to kind of back you up.
Put me in my place.
Yeah. And then at the end, I wanted to apologize and give gratitude. So
Really
I don't know if that's what you got though.
Yeah, I will go to the next group. Soon I'll bring everybody back, and I want the whole group to be able to take part in the conversation. It seems like something is happening. Relationships are forming. Different characters are showing up. Great.
Yes.
I'll see you soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's what you felt, because I'm interested to know.
Initially it was like
Yes.
Without loud?
Yes, I mean, hello.
Is it good here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Very interesting.
I'm gonna bring everybody back soon and talk with the big group. I want everybody to tell their experience. I think that's the best, because I think so many experiences are happening and characters and relationships, so everybody gets to hear. Okay, I'll very soon bring you back. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So we have a ton of time, because I'm thinking that I'd first like to hear experiences and then hear questions. If that's okay. So if you had experience in your room, and I would like to keep it this way. Talk about your own experience rather than others. That would be great. If you had an experience. And then we can, if we put it in an artistic frame of, did any story happen, a moment between two people, somebody was being done to most likely, and somebody was doing a gesture. did that inform maybe the status or like the relationship, or just tell me if did something happen, or was it just all frustrating and awful? I don't know why I said that. You can unmute yourselves. Oh wait, do I have to? Can you unmute yourselves? I guess not. Let me manage you so you can. Allow participants to unmute. Now we go. Now you can unmute.
Can you hear me? Okay. There we go.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Barry, you go first. Who was going first? Unmute yourself when you talk, but not otherwise. Otherwise, so much background.
I'm ready to talk.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'll
No, but okay.
I'm ready to talk.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Oh, I don't know. Hello? Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
I did it with Tim. And he did a pull towards himself. And my hands were down here. And when he finished, I said, what did you do? He says, pull. And my hands were like this.
So your hands changed by his pull?
Whatever he was giving me. I guess I didn't want to be pulled towards him. I don't know. But that's what happened.
Wow. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else want to share? Barry, I know you were talking.
Yeah. Well, my last exercise was with Roderick, and one of them was when I was giving to him, certain images certainly come up. You know, initially I was giving, like I was almost blessing him. So it was almost like an image of, and then it became like a knight. It's like initially it was almost like a maybe because it's Easter, a Jesus anointing, you know, and then it turned into a hand on the shoulder feel. And then somehow it morphed into, I was a king and he was my son. And through the giving, I endowed him with all of my kingdom, you know, and like it was a giving, but the gestures just turned into quite a bit of physicalization. And toward the end, and I lifted him up at some point, and then I bestowed upon him the kingdom, and I backed off subservient-like. So that was like the whole story that happened through a simple, you know, at first it was like just you're gonna be all right, you know. So
wow.
It just went off to
from one little exploration of the gesture. That's beautiful, wonderful, yeah. Great, thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, in my room we have two different people were doing the same gesture, like this penetration, and the first guy, I don't remember his name, but it was like very uneasy, you know, it was like, you know, probing. But when the other person did, it was somehow comedic. It was completely different feeling. It was
it a different quality of movement, or what made it different, or different atmosphere was born out of it, or?
I think it's a different atmosphere. I think it was a different atmosphere. The gesture was the same, but it had some.
But the how was different. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was funny.
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to say, I have to Hajar, my partner. You're so dumb. We had so much fun. It was magical.
Oh, good. Joanna, tell me more about your fun.
Well, we were really clear in the beginning about telling each other what gesture we were going to do and where we were going to do it on each other and the quality of movement, so that we were able to really like know that just because I can't see where her finger's pointing on the screen, so to be able to really know that what she was doing, have it be done to me the way her intention was. It really, I mean, we traveled through space and time, and I was able to feel sensations. One in particular, she was pulling with her will center, my will center, and she was doing it cautiously. And when she stopped the physical gesture, but then continued on with the energetic life body gesture of it, I felt like a huge rush of current, like a water sensation, just, and the lesson in like concentration, I think, is really important using this Zoom platform, because we had a commitment that like until we like gave this sign that the exercise was still going. And so to really like continue concentrating on the experience and the sensations and to like breathe with it until the sign was made. Oh, it was just magic. So thanks, Adore.
Beautiful, sustaining the concentration. Are you working with Amparo, or who were you working with?
Hadar.
Hadar, you want to say something? Yeah.
Joanna and I were working together. So
how was it for you?
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. It was very nice that we had clear rules. And so in a very short time, I felt very comfortable and very safe. And so we could let go. And the sign for Namaste was allowing me, and Joanna, I hope as well, continue with the energetic body, continue the inner work, not just the physical one. It was wonderful. And so the interesting thing was that when I started pulling Joanna from my will center to her will center cautiously, so what happened was that I had like images or the sensation of a scene that I do in a play that I am playing usually. Well, now no one is doing any plays, but on normal days. So it was, and I was rejecting it. I was like, move aside. I don't want to do this. I know this place. I don't want to revisit it. I want to find something new. And then at one point I said, okay, this is pointless. I'm just going to accept it. This is what's happening. And I stopped pulling physically, and I started pulling inwardly with the images that came to visit. And that's the point where Joanna said that she was feeling like she was really being pulled. And so it was amazing to me. I was like, okay, we don't need internet. We have a energy body. So
I love that. Thank you. And it's so wonderful that you had the container, the rules that kept you safe, so then you could let go.
Yep.
I want everybody to hear that. That's important. Thank you. I know, Kathleen, you wanted to say something. Yes?
Hi. I worked with Nami, and we were not quite sure how to begin, so didn't set up any kind of parameter, but we just ended up starting. Because we were like, oh, should we wait for a signal, or what should we do? So then we went, and I did several gestures, I guess, to establish a character. She was my mother. Like that immediately came to mind. She's my mother, and I'm a little girl, and I'm reaching for her love, and I want her to understand me and to be with me. And I guess, you know, it's a big part of who I am. She was. It's something that I guess I frequently like go to. So this is the first thing, and she was kind of reaching as well, and it just very interesting. But then I felt myself get older along with her, and so I was kind of pushing. It's like pushing it away. It's too much, like controlling me. Then I also felt gathering, like I need to gather what she can offer me, like the different stages, I guess, of the life experience you go through with a parent. So I'm gathering like her knowledge and her wisdom, and then it evolved near the end, like she's older, she needs my help. I want to help you. I'm bringing you back to me to be with me, and I want to take care of you. So it was emotional. And then when we talked about it, like Nami, she rhymes with mommy. It's like I kept thinking about that. She was also thinking of a parent, which was, you know, we hadn't spoken that. There were no guidelines set up at all. It's just, we're doing this. We're feeling, trying to feel the other's energy, the give and take. And I told her when we talked about it, we also had a little feeling of like the miser experience, feeding off energy of each other, giving back what you're given and in exchange. It was beautiful. Very, you could feel the energy.
I feel like it's resonating still in you strongly. You have a lot of sensations still.
Yes.
I just realized something now, as we all are talking, how it goes back and forth. I thought I was the giver, and then I was receiving, and I feel that way all the way through with what I did and what I watched from the other partners too.
Yes. You want to talk more about that?
Just that I just realized, I mean, I understand that we're always giving and taking and going back and forth, but when we were talking about it there in the room, it didn't dawn on me, but of course we were doing that. Of course somebody else just pulled a little more, and that was beautiful. Yeah.
Wonderful. Were you in the room with Kathleen and Nami or in another room?
No, with Barry and Roderick.
Ah, yes. Wonderful. Thank you so much for Kathleen and Nami. Do you want to share anything more about this? Because I know it was a very strong, rich experience, and I know it was personal, but it sounded also archetypal in a way, like maybe all mothers and all daughters in the world.
Well, perhaps Nami would like to share. I would love to hear.
Hi, I had a similar experience. I just started with the gesture. It wasn't, it started with the story. But it was fascinating. Like, I found two things really interesting. One was that we arrived at the same story, essentially, of a parent, and just how powerful it was. I was quite surprised by how powerful the experience was and like the sensations were. That was it.
Thank you so much. I don't know if you muted yourself in the end. I don't know if you said anything after powerful the experience was.
No, that was it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Arlena, did you want to say anything else? Or then I know this Roderick, I think, was going to say. Yeah, I'm just trying to moderate.
Mm-hmm. No, I saw him getting ready. So I want to hear what he says.
Wonderful. Roderick.
Yeah. Oh, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yes.
Perfect. So yeah, I was in the room with. Sorry, I'm so sorry about that. I forgot his name. So, but he had the same. We were doing the same. He was talking about the night and everything. And as far as receiving, having been my first time actually doing, this technique, I felt it so viscerally, the actual energy, heart space coming in and rising up. I felt like, he was truly bestowing me with either a gift. There was a point in the beginning where I told him this, that I was, really wanting to mirror what he was doing, only because I was so engaged in his gesture. But I also knew, it was going to eventually lead to somewhere. So I wanted to kind of observe what he was doing a little bit more. But truly an amazing experience. When I was giving, it was more of like, I found myself really getting caught up in my head and really questioning what the images that were happening were giving me. So it's ended up kind of leading into a place where, you know, I was ending up pulling him in. I know he said I felt like I was giving him something that was either, you know, demanding or controlling. I was trying to almost to like build the house, you know, stand him up, you know, kind of, you know, correct his, you know, his gesture a little bit. And I think it ended up going in a way, going somewhere that I didn't really think it was going to go. But I know we ended with me trying to give him, you know, gratitude or thanks or, you know, sorry or some type of closure before we ended. But it was truly, truly a powerful experience, truly.
Great, wonderful. And that's all we're today experiencing, is having an experience provoked or ignited by the beginnings of this kind of work. And certainly other things can happen. It could be like, you know, images appear or everything goes right now. Later, we're going to look into, okay, here's the script. These are the sort of demands or the requests from the director. But right now, just allowing a story to unfold in a relationship. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and that was with me, so you did a great job, Roderick. Very open. Yeah.
Great, beautiful. Thank you. Who wants to talk about experience next?
Hi. Hi, I was with Jacqueline and Michael, and I had a very powerful feeling, exchanging of energies with both of them. And it wasn't that I was creating any kind of story, but even within myself, I really was working with the heart center, and I really experienced something I just didn't expect to. It was very powerful for me, and feeling their energies as well. It was very raw, and I really appreciated it. It was a great experience.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Anybody else?
Say, yeah, it's a visit. I wanted to say first thank you to Karen. She was so adorable. She was so lovely to work with.
Breaking. I wonder, do you have a headphone or what kind of microphone? It's very...
Yes. Maybe like this. Now you hear me better?
Yes.
Great.
So much better.
So I was working with Karine. She was adorable, and I thank you for putting me in the same room with her. And now when everybody's speaking, I'm wondering about, like, I did
hold the connection to your laptop because it's still breaking. So I'm thinking maybe in the other end to your laptop, or maybe take it out. It's really breaking quite a bit.
Okay, let's see. Danny? I will try to change the connection so it will be
without the headphone. Might be better.
Yeah, without the headphones. So
you're going to say something interesting and I want to hear it.
Okay. איך אני מחליפה את זה לזה? One second. איך אני מחליפה את זה שזה יהיה...
I think if you just pull it out, it might...
דוד, פשוט תנתקי, תמשכי את זה למחשב. תנתקי את זה למחשב.
And so it was a magic arm. It was the magic arm. Can you hear me now?
Now, yes, beautiful. Go ahead.
So I was doing pulling, and I did it to the willing center, so it was super pulling and it was down. And then when I asked Karine what she, because I wanted to, I did it without her seeing what I'm doing, and then I came back and we just looked at one another. We did it inwardly, of course. So then I asked her, what did she experience? And she said what she experienced for me. And then when I asked her, what did you felt for yourself? Then she said okay, well, she was so focused on me. Then she was she left herself outside. So then I'm now when I'm thinking about it, it also connected to the fact that I was pulling. So I just took it and I pulled her. So that was so interesting to, and then we just we switched if she wants to say about what her experience was then. It was very interesting for me to see how the Chekhov technique works every time. This is crazy.
And Avivit is a director, so I love when directors use this technique. It's so great for the actors. I'm so love that you're doing this and the important work you're doing.
I believe in my base that the theater director, if he wants to work with something, he have to experience it on himself or herself. Otherwise, you cannot just say to someone, do something without understanding what it is, what is the experience.
I wanted to, Marjo-Riikka, hi. I was working with Emma and Olga. I want to thank them. And we were working with the three gestures. We were practicing before. And the most amazing thing for me was that even though they was practicing the gesture, doing the gesture without the physical body, I was contaminated in somehow, about the quality of the gesture the actress was doing. So, but it was so much that sometimes when Emma did the pulling, lava with the willing center, I was automatically connected with my willing center. So I thought, okay, so I'm gonna try to be in my center and receiving the gesture to see what happened, because I cannot go with the flow with the other actor, or yes, I don't know. So I try to connect with my center of the breast and gently and receiving the gesture. And so it was very interesting because I was contaminated, even though I was with my center, but the contamination, it was little by little. But I was contaminated every time they was doing the gesture, with gentle, with the pulling, with the center of the willing, whatever quality they give me, and I was following them. It was very nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And it's not a problem, because when we have a story, then we will negotiate and find a way, of course, because you are being done to, you will receive it. That's great. It's good. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. And Aviv, from this room or with Avivit's partner, I just want to make sure, I want everybody to have a chance to talk. So whoever wants to, but don't feel rejected if somebody jumps from another room to another. We have a lot of time. So anyone who wants to go next, thank you.
Yeah, do you hear me? Yeah. So I wanted to go back to what Avivit said about a will center, because even though I would not see a gesture, I could see in her eyes so much power. Everything was in her eyes. So and what was very interesting also, it's to align, the heart, the will center and the head, and I could see that for me at some point where the will was a little stronger than the heart or the head, because in my gesture with Avivit, she felt, I mean, I should talk about what I felt, but it was interesting for me to notice that if the will is too strong, you might give a push, even if the gesture is something else, is an open gesture. So it was very interesting for me to notice. Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful, wonderful.
I can also share, I was with Amparo and Olga, and I actually had a physical sensation without knowing Olga was doing the piercing, and without knowing whether she was doing it for me or towards Amparo, I felt like someone was stinging through my head. And then she told me later on that, yeah, I was doing it for you. So that was kind of spooky and cool.
That's great. Anina?
I can't get the thing going. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I couldn't. I couldn't hear anybody, and I couldn't see anything.
Oh no!
I don't know what happened. And
You
it's
were
such
in
an
the room.
exciting.
Yeah, you were in the room, but for whatever reason, then I don't. Can you see us now?
It's perfect now. I can hear you,
Yeah.
but I kept saying to you, "I want a room," and you didn't hear me. I mean, it just didn't carry. So I missed the exercise, which is.
Oh, I'm so
sorry.
sorry. Yeah, I assigned you a room. You had to click on. I tried to talk to you. I noticed you went in the room, and I kept asking, "Would you like me to put you in the room?" But I never heard. So
I kept saying yes, yes, yes.
And then I gave you a room anyways. But then there's a button you have to accept the room, and maybe that didn't.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. Now you're only gonna hear about it. Oh,
it's okay. I love hearing about it. It's exciting.
Sorry. Next time we'll make sure we'll somehow get you in the room. Okay. Thank you, Anina. I'm so sorry about that.
No, I'll get it next time.
Okay. And I have little recordings in a couple of the rooms, but not too much, but you might be able to see them at least then. Okay. Anybody else want to share? Rebecca, I know you had something about the pillow exercise. I haven't read it, but do you want to talk about it?
Sure. Thanks, Marjo-Riikka. First of all, my questions or my thoughts about it have to do with teaching and how I might deliver this exercise to my students and under what context. So I don't know if this is the right forum for that conversation. Sure. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I just love that. And I haven't done that exercise before. And I loved experiencing it. And I loved how you delivered it. And I was just trying to think of one of my earlier questions is, do you do this exercise even when people have their scene partner in the room? And if so, I guess why? Yeah, let's start there.
Okay. I do this exercise usually when in the technique class at some point because in this exercise you can work with any part of the technique. You're basically radiating, you're working with receiving, you're working with quality of movement, you're working with form, with ease, with it's like staccato legato exercise where you can practice any part of the technique. And I sort of try to, it's in a way, wherever you put focus will grow. There's so many elements. I mean, anything can be any part of the technique, right? But I usually do this because I feel that if you can act with a piece of wood or with a pillow and be so rich in experience, then a fellow human being can be a really great gift. But of course, a fellow human being might give offerings that you didn't expect. So in a way, there's safety to work with the pillow. But then I normally take it from the pillow when we establish this a safe scene partner that is pillow that will basically do anything you suggest. And when the actor gets to that point, if you then have scene partners working with the pillows and then look at each other and doing the thing to pillow while they look at each other and go through their text, the miracle that happens is that it becomes about them too. So I don't know if I answered your question.
No, I love that. So it's working with the pillow and then continuing with the pillow, but with your scene. Sorry.
Great, I love it. Yeah. I mean, you can use it however you want. I came about it because I noticed that people were a little bit afraid to still work with each other. So we worked with the pillow and then we lifted up from the pillow and it's loaded with atmosphere, quality, sort of like normally also, if you put two people to do a scene together, especially if they're nervous or there's any performing happening, it's a way to teach what it means to speak through experiencing instead of saying lines to your fellow actor. Sometimes we want to be so helpful for our scene partner, we start acting, right? But with the pillow, if I learn to speak through actually experiencing, then it's born in the moment. The text will come out of me through that experiencing. And when I offer that to my scene partner, they'll be, the scene will, I don't know, am I explaining still what you wanted to hear?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, my dog had an episode, so I had, so I couldn't hear it all, but I heard most of it, and I love it. It's really, really fascinating. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you can use that exercise however you want. That's what I do. It just came about. Anything else?
I also want to say something about this exercise, because for me, it's just, I understand that the director just to let, for me, it just set me free from taking care of what will happen to the person. So I don't have to take care of what happened to the person. I just want to experience, not a director, as an actor. I just want to experience what happened to me when I'm doing something, what happened to me in my body, and I don't have to care about someone else that gets.
Oh, we're losing your voice again.
Hurt. And what happened to me when I put my hands on the I imagine myself like nails. So I need to put my hands into nails and just dig there. And I couldn't scream as much as I want because there are people in the house. So I was just screaming as much as I felt that I can. And tears come into my eyes here, like in real pain when you got hit by something really hard and you have those tears here. That happened, and it was so cool. It was super cool.
Mario, another question around this exercise. And maybe you said this when my dog was barking and I couldn't hear, but do you tend to do this at the beginning of a relationship between partners? Or is there another place within the acting pedagogy where it might live?
Actually, usually it's first introduced in the technique class, which is before scene study. So normally they have experience just by themselves, and then everybody's doing it at the same time, which means that it's kind of like nobody's looking at you. Then we'll go into a place where others are watching one of the actors doing it, still just with their pillow scene partner. It also depends on the group. I never teach the same class. I'm like a nightmare for university because I'm not. I teach that everything will come, but it will never come in the same order because it depends on who's in the class. It depends on the people and what they need, what that specific group needs at that moment. Might be like for the year before, it was week 4, and this is the first thing we do with some. It's not the first thing.
Okay.
Did I answer? Yeah.
Thank
you. You're a wonderful teacher. You'll know when to do it. Try. Anybody else? Vlad, okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Vlad.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
And that is, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. When Rebecca was talking about introducing this technique, you do it with your students first, the hands through the nails, and then you do it pulling and the other things?
So actually, I don't always do the nails.
Gotcha.
The gentleness and the sending and sustaining, the radiating and then the receiving, that's more important than the nails. The nails are like extra.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just a polarity. It would be gentle.
Gotcha. Receiving and giving.
Receiving,
yeah, okay.
Radiating and receiving is more important. That's like in the heart of it. And then the other thing that happens is that work with images, it could be a gateway to work with images, because the pillow could suddenly become a baby, or the pillow could come.
Right.
So it almost anything I want to be exercising with the actors, I can make the exercise to be about.
With the pillow. I got it. Thank you so much for that.
The only reason I did it today, before the reason I did it today was not that I would normally even link it to psychological gesture. Was because we have people here in the group who been doing psychological gesture for 40 years, and then we have people who've never done it, and I wanted to make sure that psychological gesture is way more, a lot of things, but one thing that I find is important is to not just jump on that, but to understand that we are receiving and being done to, and we are doing, and understanding that will help the gesture to have the beginning, like the moment before, because of receiving, the gestures sort of happen, right? We don't live in a vacuum where we just do it, except maybe our president, but
yeah.
Sorry, did I just
That's
say
okay. No, I got it. And what it does is it leaves the actor who's receiving the gesture the necessity to react, instead of to say, what's she doing? Oh, I will do this to it. No, you don't have a choice. You just either become an empath, you either become open to it, and they give it to you, and you just react. And if you can't do that, it's going to look strange and funny.
Yeah.
I, as a teacher, also want to use this a little bit more in my classes. So I thank you. Wonderful. Thank you.
And then the other thing is that when character can deny and character can fight and not receive, but it's my belief that the actor, when they are saying receive, when the actor can be filled, then the character can no. But if the actor doesn't receive and be filled with what's been done to them,
right,
then there's nothing to push away, or there's nothing to protect, or yeah.
And that's why I think starting with the nails is more visceral. And what the hell is she doing? Nails? I'm not pushing. Nails. And then you get to, you trick the actor. Do you know? That's what I'm talking about. You trick the actor by going, nails. Oh, okay. Yeah. I love tricking actors.
Like offering different places of concentration and seeing which one,
yes,
which one is helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you. Oh, somebody on iPad couldn't get to the room either. I'm so sorry. I tried to assign everybody, but yeah, I signed everybody, and then there's an invitation that you have to say yes to. Sorry. I don't know, I'm making a mopey face as if it's helpful. Anybody else? Anybody left here? Everybody went home? Yeah. Does anybody else want to say anything? You don't have to. I'm looking at the chat window. I have very little psychological gesture exposure and only solo. But through witness and listening, it reminds me very much of an external to internal version of repetition. Yeah. All the
iPad.
Yeah. Oh, there you are, iPad. Hi. Yes. I mean, it's all acting techniques want the same thing. Brilliant acting and presence and playfulness and well, Chekhov technique has the spiritual aspect to it too. But yeah. Did you want to say anything else?
No, it's just something that I was recognizing through listening to everybody share their experiences and how I was able to, very briefly, I saw Joanna and I believe her name was Hadar. I was able to watch the both of them experience it together very quickly. I was having internet issues. Whenever I would join the break room, everything would go black. So I was unable to connect. But just simply in watching the two of them share their experience through the act of doing it, and then also to listen to them share their experience post the act, it very much reminded me of repetition and sort of the same discoveries that come about through the process.
Absolutely, thank you. And so today we're like approaching, and it's very much my way of teaching, that I have like one part of the technique in mind, but I always mix something else in there, and it is a little bit maybe longer way. I don't like teaching short courses because it's like, here's the technique. I believe that our job is to experience. So that's why I sort of like purposely don't try to teach the whole thing in one go. I find it important. It's more important. What it was important for you, I want to honor. But the most important thing from my directional and pedagogic thought is that you'll have an experience, and then we can figure out what part of the technique was living in you. Then you're like, oh, I was in gesture. Oh, I was receiving. Or, oh, there was atmosphere that started. So when you start having experiences, then you can put names to those experiences rather than having a name and demanding an experience. Later we can do that. We can go like, I'd like to experience, if that makes sense. And because there are teachers who are better at that than I am. That's why I'm inviting everybody else here to teach as well. Good. Anybody else want to say anything? Let's take a deep breath. Oh, I observe some neck tension in me. I wonder if you scan through your physical body and energetic body and just observe a little bit, what might be helpful? Is it the breath or letting something ease in, or? Right now, as an artist, do you have an impulse to give an offer, or would you like to be receiving support? What kind of atmosphere would you like to spend the rest of your evening or day? If for a little moment you were like a magician, that anything you might imagine that would be helpful and beautiful for you right now, if you could just with the simple thing, just make it in the right hand, the left, and up, space above and space below, and your back space and front space. If by imagining it, you could experience it. The feeling of ease, and your breath, and it would have the form that you would be helpful. The feeling of beauty, and it would have a feeling of entirety. And before we finish today, I'd like you to have a moment to honor your artist and honor all the fellow artists who came together to do this. And if you have a gesture for this group that came together, you all gave several hours of your life for this. So I'm very grateful. So embrace or honor or whatever it is that you want. Or if you are more in need of being carried and embraced, you may receive. Don't always have to do. You can also receive what you need. Thank you so much. If you like to peel away anything you don't want to have, oops, I have a dog here. I'm gonna move the dog. There we go. You can peel away energetically anything you don't want to keep from there, even if it's just neck tension or any images you don't like to carry in your day, and bundle them up in the imagination bundle and lift it up through the ceiling, send it back to the imagination planet. And then we could do just one opening expansion. Inhale, ease. And cross a threshold in your space, and we can finish the class.
Okay, Bumbo.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Until next week.
Thank you. It's lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It was wonderful.
Bye, gang.
You guys are awesome.
Yes.
Very good.
We'll have Dawn, and then we'll have Bethany next week. It's very exciting. I'm not teaching at all. I'm just taking part in hosting. And Lisa, I don't know if you ever want to do like some technique. It would be great. Lisa Pelican, wonderful teacher. Morris, yes, Morris. I don't know if she's there anymore. Okay. Bye-bye. Have a beautiful week. I will see you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.